Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Gus Sorola.
It looks like the fallout from Mass Effect Andromeda was worse than we thought. Like, a lot worse. Less than 2 months after the game was released to a mixed response. BioWare has put the franchise on hiatus and has demoted its developer, BioWare Montreal, to a support studio.
Ouch. Well, I like to play support, so I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't think this is like Mercy style.
Oh, shit. I was thinking Lucio.
No, also not. No,
right.
Worse.
Well, that news comes to us from Kotaku, who quoted 4 sources close to the company, and it's not the only thing BioWare has put on hold. Its parent company, EA, said recently that the new BioWare IP will be delayed as well.
So the news about Mass Effect comes just a day after EA told investors that it wished Andromeda's review scores had been higher, but that it was overall pleased with the game. Apparently not pleased enough.
While Kotaku says this doesn't mean there will never be another Mass Effect game, it does indicate that BioWare is letting the franchise go dormant, at least for a while, rather than immediately getting to work on a follow-up.
BioWare has apparently already been moving some staff out of the Montreal studio. Last month, Kotaku said an unspecified number of employees there were transferred to another Montreal studio, EA Motive, to work on Star Wars Battlefront 2 instead.
Those still at BioWare Montreal will work on BioWare's other games, including its new IP. The Montreal studio will also keep patching and supporting Andromeda's multiplayer.
Andromeda was the first game that was led by BioWare Montreal, with its director, franchise producer, and leads all based there. The first 3 Mass Effect games were developed by BioWare Edmonton, which also contributed to Andromeda a bit, along with BioWare Studio here in Austin, but mainly it was done in Montreal.
Andromeda was a hugely anticipated game for Mass Effect fans, but it received a mixed response from players and critics.
From some of us more harshly than others.
Yeah. But still, EA defended the game as recently as yesterday in an earnings call with investors. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said that he was proud of the game, and while he would have liked for its review scores to have been higher, he thought it was nonetheless exactly the game that some players were looking for. If you're that player, let me know. I'm curious. He also ticked off positive qualities of the game, like its deep, beautiful, rich worlds, its combat, and its engaging, fast-paced multiplayer.
So I can't speak to the multiplayer, but I
did. It was better in 3.
The world I thought was actually cool. Like, I quite liked all the environments in Mass Effect Andromeda. I thought they looked great, and I thought they played pretty well. It was really like any time a character walked on screen that it felt at. But it appears that the fallout from Andromeda was overall worse than EA or BioWare publicly let on. Kotaku sources say that BioWare Montreal is now much, much smaller than it was even a few months ago due to staffing shuffles.
In response to the news, EA sent the following statement to Kotaku from BioWare Montreal studio director Yannick Roy. Our teams at BioWare and across EA put in tremendous effort bringing Mass Effect Andromeda to players around the world. Even as BioWare continues to focus on the Mass Effect Andromeda community and live service, we are constantly looking at how we're prepared for the next experiences we will create. With our BioWare and Motive teams sharing studio space in Montreal, we have BioWare team members joining Motive projects that are underway. We're also ramping up teams on other BioWare projects in development.
Meanwhile, speaking of BioWare's new IP, it doesn't look like we can expect that anytime soon.
EA officials said yesterday the new IP is being delayed, and while EA isn't saying why it's being delayed, they have assured us that it doesn't have anything to do with the bad response to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Alright, so a little bit of background before we dig into the news. We've reported in the past that BioWare has been working on a new IP, something unannounced, which has been described as part action game, part MMO, and that the developers called its biggest project yet. Codenamed Kdin, apparently, and multiple BioWare studios working on it. Earlier this year, parent company EA said that the new IP would launch by April 2018, so we were all counting on a reveal pretty soon.
Like E3, maybe.
Yeah.
While BioWare and EA have been cagey about the details, they clearly think the new game is going to be big. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said in January the game has the potential to fundamentally disrupt the way people think about an action title, bringing friends together to play in an exhilarating new way. He also called it a genre melding game that's an action-adventure title, not an RPG.
So big kind words of coming from Andrew Wilson.
Reminiscent of Destiny, like all the talk around Destiny?
No. Genre bending, world changing, Gus. But also not Destiny. They're calling it Mestiny. So then last month it was reported that BioWare would unveil their new IP here at E3 in June, which is coming up way too fast, and that the game has a lot in common with things like Destiny, The Division. That report came in from Liam Robertson, the YouTube gaming historian who also reported about what went wrong with Mass Effect Andromeda repeatedly and in great detail. In Robertson's podcast, he said that BioWare Edmonton, the team behind the original Mass Effect trilogy, had been working on this new IP, codenamed Kdin. Robertson said, Kdin is, from what I understand, a sci-fi themed game. It is sort of Destiny style, takes some elements from The Division. It has light MMO MMO elements. Someone described it as a semi-MMO.
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 I coined it here first.
Robertson also said it's BioWare's biggest project yet, and that it will feature co-op play.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we knew about the game so far. Then yesterday, during an earnings call with EA's investors, the publisher said the game has been delayed and is now scheduled to come out between April 2018 and March 2019.
Now, you might be forgiven for thinking the delay has possibly something to do with the lukewarm response that many people had to Mass Effect Andromeda earlier this year. Some of us were more upset with the game than others.
I'm still upset.
Some of us were very upset. While BioWare's worked diligently to patch the game, in fact, another patch just came out today, definitely had a rough start with odd-looking character animations, buggy gameplay, lack of things like shaders on eyes, which sure, that's an easy thing to miss in development, causing a lot of criticism.
But EA said the delay has nothing to do with Andromeda.
No.
GameSpot reported Wilson as saying that the delay is to give BioWare more time to make the game the best it can be. He said, the choice to move the new IP and what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda are completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. The reality is we have a creative process as a company. Creativity and pioneering is really important for us. Innovation in games is important more now than ever. And as a leader in the industry, we see it as our responsibility to innovate.
Wilson went on to say, as part of our creative process, we recognized that there was so much more opportunity in a connective, networked social world to do some things in the new BioWare game that had never been done before, and that we don't think anyone is going to do anytime soon, and we chose to give the team some more time to deliver against that innovation because we believe players are looking for the kinds of things that we plan to put into that game.
So why the delay? Well, it's clear that BioWare and EA have high hopes for the new IP, whatever it is, and maybe it's so important to them that they want to take the extra time to get it right. And while EA claims that the delay is not because of the backlash to Andromeda, not at all,
no.
It's clear that they're aware of it and that it's a little hard to believe that they wouldn't take away some lesson from that.
Yeah, for his part, Robertson called the delay of the new IP big news. He tweeted, that game has been in the works since like 2014. A lot of time being spent getting it right.
So where does that leave the new IP? Will we be still getting an E3 presentation? Maybe.
I mean, if it's still going to be coming out in the next like 2 years, that's actually not all that uncommon for a reveal. We don't often get the Fallout 4 treatment where it's announced and they're like, by the way, it's coming in like 3 months. Usually they're like, announce, and then if you're Kingdom Hearts, you just announce and then never come out. But here's the thing, they announced Mass Effect Andromeda like 4 times. So like 3 or 4 E3s it was at, and they never said exactly what it was.
Yeah, normally you get used to seeing a game at E3 a couple of times.
It'll be a while. So what do you guys think of BioWare putting Mass Effect on ice and delaying the new IP? Is it a little bit gun-shy because of the response to Mass Effect Andromeda? Let us know what you think in the comments. Overall, I'm not that surprised about the shuffle between studios. It's pretty common in the video game industry that when a game project is complete, they downsize. They have a lot of people that are on contract, whatever. So in EA's case, they can move them off to another project, but it doesn't...
Game's been complete for a while.
Yeah, but you know, this one, I don't know, it doesn't, I don't know, I guess it doesn't speak much to their confidence in working on a new Mass Effect anytime soon.
Well, for all of your BioWare and future Mass Effect news, including whether or not we'll even see another Mass Effect game, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the know.
It's totally Destiny.
It sounds
everything
like
they
Destiny.
say, I'm like, that sounds like Destiny.
That sounds like what they were saying about Destiny before Destiny came out.
Of course, before Destiny came out, I was also like, just go ahead and call it an MMO.
Yeah, Sem-MMO.
We know what it is.
Sem-MMO.
Sem-MMO.
It rolls off the tongue.
Anytime soon, and we chose to give the team